All right. Welcome to another edition of Shabbat Lounge, if I can talk, where we are coming to you with our faces.
Yes, my face, your face.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what Matt looks like in the daytime.
Yes, that's pretty scary.
And I'm Jake, obviously. If that's Matt, that's
Yep.
Jake.
And so we want to thank you for stopping by and checking us out. And we appreciate any comments, like, subscribe, share. You can find us on social media if you just Google, if you go to the Google or the Bing, as we like to say sometimes.
Is DuckDuckGo the same?
DuckDuckGo, Brave browser, Safari.
Yeah.
Name your browser.
We cannot promise that you'll find us on any of those.
You can find it.
No, they'll be there.
And if you type in Sabbath Lounge, you'll find our website. There's a Twitter page. There's Facebook. What else is there, Jake?
There's the YouTubes and we're on
TikTok.
TikTok, right?
We hear that's big, and we hear that China is getting all our data from it, and so
We put lots of data
free.
on there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, lots of data.
Yeah.
Lots of things.
Yeah.
So you can find us in multiple platforms. But we do really appreciate. We're trying to grow our audience, and just keep in mind, there's no money here. There's no money being exchanged. No, nobody's getting rich from this, and we're not getting paid in any way by anybody. And so, so we appreciate helping us get the word out. You know, we feel driven to say a few things, and we will try to help some people along the way.
And if this helps people, then to hear our thoughts on what the scripture is saying, then
Yeah.
that's the point.
And we definitely don't claim to have a corner on the truth. We're just a couple of guys trying to figure things out for ourselves. And so, you know, we reserve the right to be wrong, because we might make a mistake. We may study more and come to different conclusions 5-10 years from now from things we say today. So we're growing, and the Word is working on us and changing us hopefully every day, and we hope that it is for you too.
Yep.
So, and we're glad that you're here today. We're going to talk about spying out the land and what that represents. And we're going to take a look at a few things that go along with that. So, this, comes from Numbers in chapter 11. The people demand eat meat. We want meat. And so
I've said that myself.
you have,
So.
yeah. You probably have. Mm-hmm. And so, this in chapter 12, you have an attempted coup.
Yep.
And in chapter 13, Yahuwah tests them. What was the coup in chapter 12? I don't remember.
That's Korah.
The Korah rebellion.
Yes. Where they're,
Pretty big deal.
hey, I don't like you. I can do it better. Anything you
Oh,
can
man.
do, I can do better.
It's like, Grandpa, step out of the way. Let the young folks lead the people.
Yes.
Seems kind of like what's happening today in some ways.
Yeah. Okay.
Boomer,
okay,
get out of the
Boomer.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boomer, get out of the way. We're going to take all your things down and start over with this society.
Now the okay Boomer hasn't been demonetized on the YouTube yet, has it?
I don't know. Okay, Boomer.
I think you're still allowed to insult boomers.
Maybe. I don't know. All right. So that's kind of the background before it. But, so some things have not been trending in the right direction. So things have been going a little bit south here.
Yes.
So honeymoon's over. Literally. And then Numbers 13, the 12 leaders are selected. Moses chooses men that he considers good leaders. These men reflect the values and the sentiment reflected by their tribes and their families. So, Jake and I were talking, and Jake, do you think, what kind of people do you think they chose to be these leaders, these 12 spies?
Probably people living in their parents' basement, playing video games all the time.
Yes, probably so. Yeah, for sure. The kid's like, Mom and Dad, I'm going to make a living one day playing video games. That kid.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Or a strapping young lad.
Yes.
They probably picked maybe people that they thought were brave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because who knows what they're going to run into.
Yeah, yeah. You would think this is the best of the best, and this is the best that they would have to offer.
So the point is, they probably chose some capable men in terms of the world's eyes, right?
Yeah, I think so. But probably the best and the brightest, and represented their family's values. Because after all, they had their family names on them.
Yeah.
You wouldn't go pick the guy who lived in the basement to probably go represent you and go,
right,
that's our family right there. That's it. I question your family.
Do us proud.
Yes. I question your family. Not that there's anything wrong with living in your basement, your parents' basement, or playing video games.
Right.
I've done them both. Actually, I have not done them both. My parents don't have a basement.
Yeah, this is Texas. What are you talking about?
All right, so anyway, Numbers 13. The leaders are not chosen, what was I saying here? The leaders are not chosen because they're not capable. These were the best and brightest. So basically just saying the same thing we said before. This is the A team. This is the bravest. They probably were sneaky, I would want a sneaky spy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want you to pick, hey, I'm over here. That wouldn't work. So these are proven, even though it says Porvin.
That's the Hebrew.
It's a new word, Porvin survivors. So there might be a spelling mistake there. But so anyway, why does he even ask them to do this? Why didn't they just charge in? Why do you think?
Yeah, why didn't he say, I'm giving you the land, go get it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably a test.
Right. I definitely think it was a test. And, you have to look, too, at Yeshua. 40 days and 40 nights he was tested. So, and I believe he knew their hearts. Like any good parent, he knew their hearts, but he was hoping for the best.
Yeah.
So... And what do you think he means in this Numbers 13 about what he was looking for?
Yeah, so he's looking for people that want what he wants and are willing to follow him instead of their own desires, and seeing truth and having a vision instead of what's right in front of them.
Mm-hmm. It makes me think of that scripture in the New Testament where it says Yeshua must increase and I must decrease. He's looking for that, and it's not like this is a group of people. They've spent some time with him at this point. Most people say a year. The honeymoon is over. Literally, the bride and groom have been together for a year, and now it's time to get out in the real world.
Yeah.
And roll up your sleeves and go to work. And so. But he knew they weren't ready if they couldn't see it. They had to have a little vision, some faith here, and a lot of things have happened that would give them some confidence that Yahuwah was who he said he was.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty easy to look at this and say he was right there with you, and why didn't you just trust?
Right.
That he was going to take care of it.
Right. Yeah, and I think it is easy to look back in history and be harsh to them, but we are them.
Yeah.
So, and then in 17, Moses sends them out to explore Canaan. He told them, go through the Negev and into the mountain region, see what the land is like, and whether the people living there are strong or weak, few or many. Is the land good? Is it bad? Did they have walls around their cities? Is the soil rich? Is it poor? Does the land have trees or not? Do your best to bring back some of the fruit from the land. And so they were supposed to make a report. So Jake, do you think he was asking them for, this could be a loaded question, I guess, but was he asking them for their opinion or the facts?
It sounds like he's looking for the facts. He's like, tell me what's going on over there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he wants to know.
Mm-hmm. Do you think in places you've worked before, does the boss always want your opinion?
Sometimes he does.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
not
But
when
you
he
usually
doesn't
know.
ask for it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And there are times when you just give your report, your boss the facts. That's what he's looking for.
Yeah.
The information.
Yep.
The data.
Yep.
So
Yeah, if he's getting ready for a meeting and he says, "Hey Jake, I'm going into a meeting. This is what I need to know." I'm not going, "Well, I don't know that George knows what he's talking about." I mean, there's a place for it, but not like he's going into the meeting. He needs the facts. Let's just cut to the chase.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do think that this is something similar here. And so you see that Caleb is ready for sure, and Caleb says, "Let's go. Let's take possession. We got this. We should be more than able to conquer it." Joshua and Caleb both were like, "There's no issues.
Yeah, let's do it."
Mm-hmm. So they had no fear. But the men who had gone with him said, "Whoa, cool down, Caleb.
Easy
You're getting
there.
a little crazy. We can't attack those people. They're too strong for us." So they began to spread lies amongst Israelites. So here you go. They're spreading lies. And to me, this is like bearing false witness. So there were things that they were saying that weren't true. Or Jake, do you think it was an embellishment of the truth?
Probably a little from column A and a little from column B. Mm-hmm. This is our first instance here of fake news, as it were.
Fake news.
Yeah.
And numbers. So, but yeah, you definitely see this. It was more than just them saying, "Hey, I'm scared, we can't do this." They purposely were trying to mislead.
Sabotage.
Saboteurs.
Yes.
Which kind of seems like a theme here in this section of Scripture.
It did just happen recently.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And then it says, "The land we explored, it's the one that devours those who live there. All the people we saw there are very tall. We saw Nephilim there." So,
ooh, the Nephilims.
Yes. And I don't doubt there was some truth, in here, like you said. And so, speaking of, okay, so don't you know that Joshua and Caleb are like, "What's wrong with you people? How can you not see this?" And Moses is like, "It's about time. Welcome to my world, people." So, but you also see kind of this idea that the remnant is growing, if you will. If Moses and Caleb and Joshua and Caleb are like this remnant, that it's growing. It's not just Moses anymore.
Yeah.
So there's been some growth.
Yep. It's double. They doubled his numbers there.
Doubled. Mm-hmm. So now it seems like there was something that I was going to say back here.
And when I said that it had just happened, actually it was about to happen. We're talking about Korah.
Right.
That was going to happen later.
But there were other instances of the rebellion, though. I mean, there's quite a few things that happen in this section with even Aaron and Miriam, where they're challenging him, and there's some rebellion with that, too. So it just seems like there's a lot of that in here. So the thing I wanted to point out here, when I read this section of Scripture, what I notice is there's a phrase in there that says, "We look like grasshoppers in their eyes." And so there's something wrong with their perception, clearly. And so, and I've always, or not always, but since I've been walking in Torah, I've studied the Nephilim and came to the conclusion they were these giant beings. And, you can discuss if they were 12 feet tall, 30 feet tall, I don't care. I'm not going to spend my time, effort, and energy trying to argue how tall these things were. But I do think it's an interesting premise that maybe the limitation was in their mind that they put on themselves, because they assumed, and this is part of the lie that they shared, I believe, and they said, "We appeared like grasshoppers to them." And it was all,
how could they know?
Is all their perception.
Yeah.
And that's so what we do.
Right.
A lot of times we have victory in front of us, but we're like, oh, I'm afraid I can't do that.
We do a lot of what ifs.
Yeah.
And 99% of those never happen.
And a lot of time it's our opinion.
Yeah.
He doesn't ask us what we think about it usually. He's like, go do this. That's what I need you to do. And I don't think we're supposed to sit there and negotiate and argue, and that's kind of what they're doing.
Yeah.
So because he's already told them, we're going to take this. This is the promised land. We've been talking about it for a year now.
Yeah.
And now's the time. This should be exciting. This is the drum roll. This is the climax of the movie. They're about to roll up on the hill and descend down with a giant army and conquer and roll the credits.
Right. And they didn't have it in them.
Yeah. Mm-mm. And I'm sure it was very disappointing. So, the kids are disciplined by their lack of faith. They had a long time to think about their consequences for these choices. And so, but they showed the father they just clearly were not ready. And so I think he knew what they were going to do in his foreknowledge. And I still think, though, he's like, come on, I wish that this could be different.
Yeah.
He was hoping that they would, choose the right thing.
Yeah, and then on the previous slide there, talking about how, the kids end up paying for the sins of the fathers because now they, through no fault of their own, are wandering in the wilderness for 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so how does this relate to you and I, Jay?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
No.
Done. Guess we're done here.
Yeah, this makes, I see no connection. No, we need to, make sure that when we're told to go somewhere, told to do something, we should, instead of getting our own heads into it, trust in Yahweh, trust that He knows what's best for us, and move ahead from there.
Yeah, for sure. Just like we talked about, we don't do that with authority, with the boss in our life. When you get pulled over by the cop, he, when he says, "Sir, is there a reason why you were speeding today?" And you don't give him your opinion about the speed limit. That's probably not the time to do that and go on a long rant.
It's incorrectly posted.
Yes.
I was going at a safer speed.
Mm-hmm. It's like having that argument with sometimes there'll be a young person at some store and something's gone wrong. And I've seen people just scream and yell at this person that has no control over any of that. They just work there.
Yeah.
They just show up, they're getting a paycheck, and you're ranting and raving like they can do anything about
why are my Cheetos soggy?
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't make the Cheetos,
Mm-hmm.
but sorry.
No. So definitely there's a time when you just you state the facts and you don't embellish it, and it's easy to add your own input sometimes when it's not needed or asked for. So I've definitely been guilty of doing that, of giving my opinion about something when really he just was looking for my obedience, but instead I want to complain and it doesn't. It's not seen favorably.
Right.
By him.
And a lot of times we make fun of them in the wilderness because they complained a lot. It's like, how could you be complaining?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, they were starving and very thirsty.
Yeah.
I'm doing all right,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm still complaining about some small matter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it can get you pretty easily.
Yeah, it's not hard to look around the world and find people that have it much worse than you. We complain about things in our house, and then there are people who don't have a house.
Yeah.
And here I am complaining because my air conditioner doesn't work, and I'm sweating a little, or they're just even a little bit uncomfortable.
A little bit uncomfortable, right?
And what would the people in this desert have done for the air conditioning we have today. I mean, first off, they'd think it was freezing. They'd be like, "This is so cold." Like, you have winter in your house?
They might say that.
Yeah, they probably would. All right, so, the Father is looking for people who are like Joshua and Caleb, people who accept him for who he is, who he says he is, and understand his power, his role in their life. So why are there so few Abel's, Abraham's, Isaac's, Jacob's, Joseph's, Moses, Joshua's, and Caleb's?
Sounds like you had a pretty extensive list.
Yes.
There's not very many of these long list of... But no, really, in the scheme of things, there's a lot of people on the planet. That's not that many. Yeah, because it's hard to be, it's hard. The path is narrow. That's why. I mean, it's hard to do the right thing all the time. It's easy. It might not be hard to do the right thing all the time. It's easy to do the wrong thing. Maybe would be a better way to say it.
It's easy to do the wrong thing.
It's easy.
Putting that on a t-shirt.
Yes.
Easy to do the wrong thing. I think that's already been done.
Probably.
Many times.
the wrong
Both
thing.
The same and
the activity,
probably.
right?
Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not definitely not enough of those in the world. So in Joshua chapter 2, it is fitting. One of the spies, he gets his own book named after him for sure. So, and now in Joshua, he finds himself in charge. And so, Jake, do you think he might have had flashbacks to the land?
Yeah, he is probably. So they sent in another group of spies, and they probably had a talking to prior to that. Now, don't screw this up. We told you what happened last time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I would imagine there would be some talk about that.
And instead of sending 12, they only send 2 this time. So, which is kind of interesting, so that it gets changed. So,
Yahweh has a sense of humor.
Yeah. But this time Joshua knew the people. He knew their hearts were ready. He knew they were ready. And and then in Joshua chapter 2, verse 14, the men promised her, "And we pledge our lives for your life. If you don't tell anyone what we're doing here, we'll treat you kindly and honestly when Yahweh gives us this land." So they're claiming victory. There's no doubt.
Yeah, they're definitely in a different place. Now, that did come with a rousing speech from Joshua, right? They came to him with some reservations, and he was like, no guys, listen, Yahweh's got it figured out. And they're like, yeah, you're right. And so we watched
a reminder.
Yeah, we watched. So when we were first coming to Torah, we're like, there's nothing we can watch that is good enough for our kids to watch. We're trying to find some kind of entertainment for the kids to watch.
Like Disney.
Oh, yeah, we could have just gone with Disney. Now that you met, no. So we found this cartoon of Joshua. I think it was just called Joshua or some such. And we're like, man, this thing's so full of... First of all, the ark had a sun on it, which was nice. It was cute. But then they made Joshua into this, like, Nancy pants, Are you familiar with that phrase here in Texas?
Nancy pants and winter bed.
Who was like, all these people, he's like, guys, I don't know, man. I don't know if we can do this. And we're like, I don't think that's right. And then we go back and we're reading it, and we're like, oh no, he was like, no guys, let's go. We can do this. So we're like, see, we can't even watch it. Simple cartoon about taking over the world, and we couldn't even they couldn't even get that right.
Yeah.
So
that's a shame.
Yeah.
Definitely doesn't do it justice. So, but he wants people to accept his will, his ways, without commentary, without questions, without doubt. Accept it, execute it, carry it out.
because that shows a lack of faith.
Mm-hmm. And then, Jack, will you read 2:18 here?
Sure. So this looks like, okay. So when we invade your land, tie this red cord in the window through which you let us down. Also, gather your father, mother, brothers, and all your father's family into your house. Whoever leaves your house will be responsible for his own life. We will be free from that responsibility, but we will take responsibility if anyone inside your house is harmed.
So, Jake, can you see here how this could be a Passover type moment?
Yeah, there's this red cord. There's this don't leave your house kind of situation going on.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to come in and kill everybody kind of situation.
Yes. Yeah, and all the people who shut in are safe in this, who shelter in place. Wait a minute. So, no. But all the people who shelter in this place in the blood on a entryway. Was it on the door or was
this
it
was hanging out the window?
Hanging out the window, basically, yeah. So, but it is pretty interesting to think about it like that. If you've never looked at it and examined it from that perspective, you probably should. So, and then Joshua 2:18, this is clearly covenant language.
Yeah, they're making a promise with her.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, definitely. Most deaf. So our hearts represent the unconquered lands. How do our, what do you think? How do our hearts represent unconquered land?
Well, because so we have this hard heart that needs softened. We have this heart of stone that needs to be changed to a heart of flesh. So we need that conquered, right, by the Holy Spirit. Comes in, conquers this hard heart, and takes possession of it.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's also you and I have a part in this. You know, He can't conquer it if we're not ready, and if we haven't done our part to drive out the ites that are there, and the fear and the doubt, He can't come in and do that. And so until we're ready, you know, he all He can do is discipline us until we can be ready.
Yeah.
So, but the encouraging news, you know, in Joshua, they have learned some lessons clearly.
Yeah.
And as with many life lessons, we find that it's much better to learn it the first time.
Well, you know, there's a saying that I'm familiar with that goes, and maybe you've heard it before. Anything worth doing is worth doing twice, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
That's how the saying goes, right?
Yes. Is it?
No, I think it's worth doing right. I think is the
yes. Well, and then I've also, what I used to tell kids when I taught, they'd go like, "Well, this is so hard," and I would talk to them about how anything that is too easy, it's not worth doing. So if you for instance, if you like to go fast or something, if you get on a motorcycle or in a car and you go too slow, it's not fun. If you're in a complete bubble and you're in training wheels, on your motorcycle, it's no fun.
Yeah.
But anything that's
but when
difficult,
Matt gets on that hog and
yes.
rips it down the highway,
that's right,
hundreds of miles an hour,
with my training wheels on,
yeah,
wouldn't that be a sight?
Yeah.
I've never seen Harley training wheels. Do they make those?
I don't know.
Yeah. And what kind of person would you be to have Harley training wheels? You probably shouldn't own a motorcycle. Step one.
Right.
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Definitely don't go near a motorcycle club with your training wheels. I don't think that that would go well for you.
Hey, don't let other people judge you.
That's right.
You start where
That's
you
right.
are.
Maybe you have to.
You do you, Matt.
Yes. Stay in your lane.
So we'll be posting pictures of Matt on his training wheel motorcycle.
Yes. So,
As he goes to spy out the land.
that's right. That's right. So I don't know how we got to training wheels and motorcycles.
It
but
all ties in.
Stay tuned for more.
Yeah.
So, well, we appreciate you taking a minute to stop by and listen to our channel. Our battery died on the camera, and we didn't have we had backups, but
Two are dead.
Yeah, two are dead, and I think one of them may be permanently dead. So, anyway,
Proper prior planning.
yes,
prevents.
proper prior planning. So here we are, and you just have to look at this screen at the end. But we appreciate you stopping by. We appreciate if you'd share this, if you comment, if you like it. We just need help getting the word out. Help us, please. So we would like as
This
many.
is not a hostage video.
I'm glad you pointed that out. So if you see a car driving by with the red thread, no.
Wow.
Too far. Too far.
How late is it?
It's too late.
Anyway, so we appreciate you listening, and Matt, thanks again for setting this up so we could get the word out about what spying out the land even is.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you. We'll see you later.